I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about I initiated the breakup even though I didn't want to.
Sometimes we can feel like we're backed into a corner in a relationship when we see it kind of going towards its end and we just jump the gun and try to initiate the breakup, and then we end up having different thoughts about it later.
Yeah, I see a lot of situations where somebody feels like they have to end it because maybe their partner is being neglectful or they're doing something they don't like, and they've asked their partner to stop or to change or to fix something and they won't do it. And they just get to the point where they're like, I can't take this anymore. I don't want to do this, but you're not doing anything to help me fix this with you. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like I have no other choice.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot. Sometimes you'll hear about fake breakups, mm-hmm. where somebody is ending the relationship to manipulate somebody.
Or to get a reaction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so there are quote unquote fake breakups. We don't call them fake breakups, but I know out there in the world they might say it's a fake breakup, mm-hmm. right? But essentially, we try and get our needs met from our partners, and if we don't feel like that's happening, we can go to extreme things. We can do extreme things and communicate in unhealthy ways, right? Mm-hmm. And so the more secure you are, the more you're going to be able to communicate and listen to another person's needs and have patience and care and respect them. Whereas if you grew up with a lot of neglect, you're more likely to manipulate or lose emotional self-control, mm-hmm. or do something toxic.
Right.
Right.
And it's because in those times when you were younger, you had to do those things to get your needs met. This is a bit of a tangent, but Margaret used to talk about manipulation in children because she worked with, kids who have experienced a lot of trauma, and yep. parents and families. And a lot of times adults will be like, oh, my kid is so manipulative. They learn to be that way when they're not getting their needs met through other means. So that results in adults who also use those same tactics because they don't know the communication skills to get those same needs met.
Yep. Today we've got an email coaching where I think we have a guy that was getting more and more upset with the situation with his girlfriend, and he just had to exit the situation. Even though he loved her or cared about her, wanted it to work, she was just doing things that he couldn't tolerate anymore. So let's get into this one. We're going to call this guy Mark, and he's saying, I'm really glad you've taken the time to listen to me. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and my ex-girlfriend. I come from a small town in Europe, in the countryside, just a minute away from her home. I had to move, let's say a couple hours away, with his family to attend a better school, but he goes back home almost every weekend. So let's say that they're both in their mid-20s-ish. He says, I go to the gym regularly, have a few tattoos, take care of myself, and I'd say I look pretty good. Probably a 9 out of 10.
Okay, let's go. I like to see that confidence.
That's so funny to me, people rating themselves. And to me, by the way. Like, did he want me to confirm? But like,
Craig, I want you to know I'm kind of a big deal out there.
Yeah. You know what, though? You don't look enough like Yoda, so I'm going to give you an 8.
Is Yoda the beauty standard for you?
Obviously.
Again, with unrealistic beauty standards.
I don't know. On Dagobah, Yoda was a pretty hot commodity.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a planet.
I didn't know if it was a dating app.
Ooh, that sounds like a pretty good dating app. All right. So, and he said he's got a good sense of humor. I've known her since childhood. We grew up in the same group of friends. We once tried dating years ago, but we broke up because we were both immature. After that breakup, I became colder and more arrogant with girls. Something I now regret.
And that's something that happens. Breakups can leave us jaded, can make us change the way we see relationships and behave in relationships. And sometimes it takes some space from that hurt and pain to realize, oh man, I've been projecting a lot of my experiences onto other people who've, been interested in pursuing me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sometime later at a party, while I was seeing another girl, Elaine suddenly kissed me. I didn't stop her. My girlfriend at the time found out and broke up with me. Well, wouldn't you do the same, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, I got back with Elaine, and at first, things seemed perfect, even through the distance. Me living a while away and her staying back home made the relationship harder. After a while, I started feeling that she was hiding something. Uh-oh. She had started talking to another guy. An old friend of mine.
Oof.
Guys really hate that.
I mean, I think anybody would hate that, but yeah.
Yeah. Eesh.
And it sounded like that was while they were dating. Just to be clear.
Yeah. One night, she told me she was leaving a party early because she wasn't feeling well. 20 minutes later, I saw that guy's car parked outside her house. And when I went there, I found them laughing together on the terrace.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Not good. She started crying. We talked for a while, and then I decided to go home. We didn't speak for a few days. Then we had a calm talk. I told her I didn't want to continue if things stayed the same. She promised she'd stop talking to him. 8 or 9 months later, something similar happened again. This time with another former friend of mine. He had rejoined our group of friends, and Elaine, my cousin, and he started spending a lot of time together while I was out of town. Elaine told me they met at her house for lunch, but my cousin later told me that Elaine and that guy had been there since 8 in the morning. Well, if he was there at 8 in the morning, how did he know it was 8? Maybe she was there from the night before.
Maybe they had breakfast?
Maybe. Maybe.
It's not looking good.
But it was at her house. When I came back, I wanted to break up with her, but she was going through a very difficult time with her family, so I decided to stay. Over time, she began changing for the better, but the following 15 to 16 months were incredible.
Okay.
She eventually moved to the area that he was at, and we lived together for almost a year. Everything was great until I had to sell the apartment, and she moved in with her college roommate. For a long while, things seemed stable between us. But then she started insisting we go clubbing together. I've never really liked that environment, but I did it for her. One night, a guy she knew came over, greeted everyone in the group except me. I told her it bothered me, but later I noticed she had added him on social media.
Oh, this is not looking good. And it sounds like here there's major boundary issues. We don't know if there had been cheating involved, but there's definitely deception involved. There's definitely omitting things. There's definitely, relationships, connections happening behind his back. There's a lot of things here that are really sketchy and would affect the trust that they're trying to build here.
Yeah, this is not a good feeling. This guy's coming over and he's introducing himself to everybody but me.
And then adding on social media later.
Yeah, that's even worse.
They had a conversation about who that person is. Okay.
When I asked why, she gave me a childish excuse that left me disappointed. That was the point where I was fed up and also realized too many boundaries had been crossed. I was the one who suggested we break up. She agreed, though she clearly didn't want to, and honestly, neither did I. But I had become too unhappy, too drained. There were also many smaller things that had built up over time, contributing to the decision. Well, I don't think he had much of a choice at this point, because I think this is the third guy, right?
Yeah.
And
The first two were his friends that there was deception around,
Yep.
and now there's this happening.
yeah, that is not a good feeling. Clearly that guy was up to no good, and she was on some level too.
And I could see how it's heartbreaking, because I imagine after every time there was still that shred of hope in him that said, okay, maybe that was just a one-time thing, or maybe she'll change, maybe she'll understand, why this was painful. But to see it happen again, and then boundaries being crossed again,
Yep.
it just kind of further squashes any kind of hope he had. And what's painful is he had that good 15 to 16 months
Yeah.
with her. So with all that time building rapport, building trust, for it all to end up like this. I could see that this is really devastating for him, and probably feels like breaking his own heart having to do this.
Yeah. It's tough because, he didn't want to. He even said it. Now it's been about 8 months since the breakup. Yesterday I saw her at a party. I greeted her, but we didn't talk at all. Still, I could tell she was tense. Her friends kept asking me how life was going, and I told them that I'm hitting the gym, focusing on becoming the best version of myself, and trying to become that 10 out of 10 like Coach Kenneth.
It doesn't say that.
Oh, wait. I may have changed that part. And I told them that I'm hitting the gym, focusing on becoming the best version of myself, and that I'm not looking for a relationship right now, even though I could if I wanted to. Near the end of the night, I noticed her close to one of my friends who has a girlfriend, laughing and talking with him. I think she was trying to make me jealous, and my heart sank a bit. I still have some feelings for her, even after all this time. The truth is, I'm scared that her pattern of behavior hasn't really changed, but she looks like a new person, and I always think people can change for the good if they would really want to, because it happened with me with a lot of things. Well, sure, absolutely, that can be the case, but we don't have any evidence that anything's changed at all,
Right.
right? There's no evidence of anything new.
Right. And if she was trying to make you jealous, then what is that saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So you really have to consider your experience with this person and really think about protecting your heart here. I love that he's able to still see the good in people. I love that he is very hopeful. I call myself sickeningly optimistic, because I can relate to that viewpoint of, I think people can change. I wouldn't be in this career if I didn't think people can change. And I also think setting limits with others, setting boundaries for yourself, protecting your heart is really important. And a lot of times those boundaries and limits will help people respect you more, and it models for other people what you want to see in them. So if you're able to have some boundaries with her and say, hey, listen, you've really hurt me here, and I need to take this time and space away from you to recover, to rebuild, then that's what you're showing her that you're expecting out of her too, to be able to set those boundaries with you, with others, in general, with life.
There's a little bit more here. I'm torn between wanting to move on completely and still holding on to the hope that she might be different now and could learn from her mistakes. Deep down, I don't know what the right thing to do is, whether to reach out, stay distant, or just finally let her go. Okay, well, look, we don't have any evidence that she's changed. There's been nothing that she's done to indicate that. She's never had a conversation with you. She's never apologized from what we could tell.
Right.
She's never said, I want to talk to you about some things. I've been doing a lot of thinking over this since we've been broken up. It's been, 8 months or something like that?
Yeah, I said 8 to 9 months.
Where she's shown any growth or maturity since then. There's none, no indication. So I think in this case, I wouldn't reach out. I would just leave her be and live your life and try and enjoy who you're becoming, and just enjoying becoming that 10 out of 10, right? That he wants to be.
I agree. And what you really want to look for here is some accountability. And even just an apology, that would be just scratching the surface of accountability here.
Yeah.
It's not that she would apologize and, that proves that she's changed and would really be able to handle being loyal and committed in a relationship. We don't know that. That would just mean she's able to self-reflect and have some guilt and empathy for you, right? But can she have that consistency? So this would be a situation where this person would really have to show you with time, with consistency, that they can be committed, that they can be honest. And a lot of times that means having some of those hard conversations. So I don't think that reaching out to her would be a good idea. I think it could be enabling. I think it could actually put you in a worse off position, because then the message you're sending is, you can treat me this way and I will still seek you out.
That's right.
Instead of protecting my heart.
I totally agree with that. Yes. There's no consequence for what she's done. She's not owned up to anything. She's not shown a sincere remorse or understanding of how she hurt you or anything like that. And you need to be careful, because this didn't happen one time. This happened at least 3 times that you know of. There could have been other incidents that you don't even know about. So at this point, no, I'm not going to do anything to try and make this work. I'm going to leave it be and live my life. And if one day she comes back acting like a mature adult, I might listen to what she has to say, but I'm also going to be extremely careful, because she has shown a pattern, okay, that she is not really trustworthy, where she's lied, omitted things, not told you things, done sneaky things 3 times that you know of. All right? You know what they say, 3 strikes are out.
That's true. And what's heartbreaking about this is I know the two of you had a good connection. I know that the good times must have been good enough for you to reconsider this so many times and for you to have a lot of flexibility. But you really have to think about the cost here. You know, sure, there's a lot of connection. Sure, there's a lot of fun with it, a lot of liveliness. But at what cost? So really protect your heart here.
Yep. All right, tough situation, but I'm glad to hear that you're working on yourself and you've made that your focus. It will pay off one way or the other. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.